Hi, I'm Emily Epp, Manager of Communications at the Cariboo Regional District, joined again by Natasha Brosnitsky, Fire Information Officer at the Cariboo Fire Center, and we are here with an update for September the 8th. And Natasha's going to start us off with a bit of the weather.
Yeah, thanks, Emily. So, hello. Today I would like to start by talking about the weather. We have seen precipitation in many areas of the Cariboo Fire Center as expected. But so far the precipitation has been variable and in general lower in amounts than what was previously forecasted. So far, the heaviest rain has occurred in the Nasco and Tawtree areas, so that's great news for the Plateau Fire, but it has been lighter in the south and east of the fire center. So as of this morning, some areas of the fire center had not received any rain yet, so we will see if they get some. And we certainly would like to see some rain on fires like the Clean and Elephant Hill fire to help out the fire suppression efforts there. In other weather news today, we are expecting to see gusty winds in the Chilcotin over the weekend, so that could pose some challenges, particularly on the Clean fire if they don't see a lot of precipitation. And as well, we did see a couple of lightning strikes yesterday. There is a sustained risk of lightning today in the Cariboo Fire Center as well as tomorrow. And then once we're out of the weekend period, looking farther ahead into Tuesday and Wednesday, we are expecting showers again, but like we are having today, we're going to have to see what amounts we get and what locations we get those rain amounts in.
Yeah. Thanks, Natasha. And in terms of CRD news, we had some great news today. Several evacuation alerts were able to be lifted for areas in the East Chilcotin. So that was for three main areas, one being the Highway 20 corridor from Alexis Creek to the Fraser River, as well as the Meldrum area and an area south of Highway 20 to the Gang Ranch and east to the Fraser River. So all those areas were lifted to all clear today, which meant that about 300 people were able to be back in the all clear, which is great news. And then, Natasha, if you want to just give us an update on some of our fires.
Sure, thanks, Emily. So I will talk about a few of the larger fires here in the Cariboo Fire Center. We'll start way out west on the Clean fire. So no recent growth on this fire, so good news there, but it's still putting up quite a lot of smoke and is certainly still active. This fire only saw about 1 millimeter of rain as of this morning, so there's a good, and based on the weather forecast we're seeing, there is a good chance that it won't receive any more or any significant amounts of precipitation rather over the next couple of days. So we're really going to be watching that area and seeing if we can't get something into the rain gauges there. Moving a little bit farther east to the Hansville fire, again, no recent growth on this fire. It did receive more rain certainly than the Clean fire, but it's been variable across some areas of the fire. In general, about 3 to 4 millimeters. On this fire, crews are mainly focused on extinguishing hotspots based on infrared scanning results, as well as keeping a close eye out for any areas of heat that are remaining near the perimeter of the fire. Heading to the Plateau fire, again, no recent growth on this fire, so good news there. It also received rain. More rain was seen in the northern regions of this fire than in the south. As of this morning, we saw around 8 millimeters as the highest amounts in the north. Around 6.5 millimeters of rain sort of in the Puncie area and the South Plateau fire, and lower rainfall amounts in some other areas of that fire. Work on this fire in general is focused on ensuring the excursions that occurred last week that caused significant growth on the fire are well contained. And this has been done using heavy equipment, constructing containment lines around the excursions, and in some areas where conditions permit, crews conducting controlled burns supported by helicopters and followed up by ground crews conducting mop-up activities with water delivery systems. In other areas of the fire where we did not see the excursions last week, work is mainly focused on extinguishing hotspots and, again, ensuring the perimeter doesn't have any areas of heat and tackling those as needed. Lastly, I'll just give a bit of an update on the central Cariboo area. So if some of you may have noticed that we recently took many of the fires in the central Cariboo area off the bcwildfire.ca fire of note page. And this is because they're under control, and sort of from a provincial perspective, they aren't really considered fires of note anymore. So good news there. If you still are looking for information on these fires, you can always call the Cariboo Fire Center information line at 778-799-2101, and we'll be happy to tell you what we know. Fires in this area, in the central Cariboo area, as of this morning, hadn't received a lot of rain, but I know that it's raining in Williams Lake today, so we'll have to see what they accumulate over the today and tomorrow period. The good news is that all of the fires in this area continue to be in good shape and are relatively inactive. Crews are still focusing on extinguishing hotspots identified by infrared scanning, and essentially the most active fire in this complex where some of the work, so on many of the fires, it's the infrared scanning, looking for hotspots and extinguishing those. However, on the Proughton Lake fire, which is still it is the most active fire in the complex, crews are still seeing rank 2 fire behavior. So that's basically a low vigor ground fire. And they're still working on direct attack, so extinguishing with hose, patrolling the area after, ensuring there's no areas of heat left. The fire isn't growing, it's just showing some rank 2 fire behavior essentially. And lastly, I'll end with a small piece of good news. Fire C4-1707, which is the smaller fire in the Cannon Lake area, has been called out. So
That's great news.
yeah.
Thanks, Natasha. And so we wanted to let you know just about what's coming up for this weekend. So the Cariboo Regional District's Emergency Operations Center, our public phone line, will be open over the weekend from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. So if you have any questions, feel free to call us during those hours. As well, we are not planning to put out any video updates over the weekend. However, if we have a significant update, we'll do our best to get that out to you. So you can be looking for our next fire update video at the beginning of next week. So we hope you have a great weekend. Thanks for joining us, Natasha. Talk to you soon.